Hey guys, it's me Chandrik, and today I will do kind of preparation for Alhaitham. As usual, I'll just cover around like what the material he needs, like the build, team, something like that. He good, the overall of kit, and what my opinion about him though. So let's get just start. Okay, let's read first like the overview. It say that Alhaitham is a Dendro DPS character who use a chisel light mirror in the combat. So technically, if I read like this, that means like Alhaitham is 100% probably pure on-field DPS, meaning it's not kind of like Tinari where you can do quick swap or whatever. It looks like pure kind of like Hutao Case Ayaka where it's just like self-centric, something like that. You cannot really switch off, like there's no like off-field thing, something like that. So probably the one that you should take note. So pure DPS that you utilize the Chisel Light Mirror. Chisel Light Mirror is kind of the projectile that I will explain later though. So that's I think the gimmick overview. As for the talents material, I just put all the calculation in there thanks to Devil Takoyaki, and yeah, in general just like the Dendrostone, this one the Bandit. I believe these two is come from the new area, which is the Sandstorm one, and the boss one probably the Worm one. So yeah, we cannot really farm from the 1 week before. We can only farm when the patch release. As for the talents one in here, we need same with Nahida, Bandit Steel, and from Scaramouche. As for talent and kit overview, normal charcter tech, nothing really special. It's just like the animation is so cool because it's dual wielding and I really like it. As for the main gimmick, this is where it comes from, the elemental skill. It's called Universality and L version on form. In here, Alhaitham will rush forward and deal a Dendro damage. It has another form you can hold and aim, same like Kachin. So after you use this skill, Alhaitham will generate one chisel light mirror. You see in here, there's a chisel light mirror in here. So basically it looks like very important because they even say it twice, in here and in here. So if there's no mirror at this time, he will generate one additional mirror. That basically means like there's no matter what, you will always have at least one mirror. That's kind of looks a good sign though. And in here they stay like couple of the chisel light mirror effect. First one is that whatever Alhaitham attack, like kind of normal charge plunging, it will convert into Dendro damage, which is same like Kaching. And take notes, this cannot be overridden. So probably like the Bennett and Chongyun skill, the one that do the application of cryo and pyro, it will not works for Alhaitham. So take note of that though. And then the next one they say like this chisel light mirror will do the projectile that do AoE Dendro damage. So you see that the one that kind of like circling around like that. So that's the projectile. And then based on the mirror on the field though, that means the more you have this mirror, the damage will be higher. So if you have two, it will stronger than one. And the third one they say like you will have maximum of chisel light mirror that can exist at once. So that means if you want the maximum damage, you can stack until get this 3 though. So that's the maximum damage. And the last one they say like the chisel light mirror will disappear one like kind of over time. So it kind of time to time this mirror will kind of gone. Yeah, you can see in here it has two, right? It gone become one. So yeah, time to time it will gone, and it also gone if Alhaitham leave the field, which is kind of obvious. As for the elemental burst, basically it's just like very simple. It's just doing AoE Dendro damage that deal kind of multiple times hit, and it say like it will consume the mirror and it will increase the power. So it's same with Yaemiko. So just treat same like Yaemiko. If you have 3 turret, it will deal a lot higher than only 1 turret though. So basically that means though. But it has another gimmick that different than Yaemiko. It's just like say after 2 seconds, if you unleash like let's say 0, 1, 2 or 3, you will generate the mirror though. So basically means like if you have no mirror and you burst, you will get 3 stack immediately. But if you use the full mirror, you will get no stacks though. So that's pretty much kind of trade-off, which is I think quite something or interesting to kind of learn later when it relates. So yeah, from all the overview from the talents, what my opinion about Alhaitham is that I think he is a very selfish main DPS. It's very different than Tinari where you still can share with a little bit kind of sub DPS capability, or kind of Ayato or Ganyu that you can still use a sub DPS capability. But for Alhaitham, looks like kind of Ito Xiao case where you cannot really live on field though. If you want to utilize Alhaitham, you really have to on field, like very hard on field. So this is very different than kind of like Ganyu, Ayato at Tinari case though. This is very kind of selfish centric main DPS. And furthermore, I will talk a little bit about Alhaitham. So basically, some of you already kind of know that a lot, kind of in the Twitter or kind of post, they just say like Alhaitham get nerfed, like heavy nerf, something like that. So for those of you that don't know that, basically Alhaitham when first come in the beta, it's actually have a very high scaling that can even they say it's become one of the strongest main DPS though. But after like couple kind of think maybe they review, they really nerf Alhaitham a lot though, I would say. So because of that, it kind of make controversy that they say like Alhaitham becomes not good or something like that. Whatever they talk bad of Alhaitham, but if you say, if you ask me like very brutally honest, is like Alhaitham nerf is actually very heavy nerf? I will to say yes, it's a very heavy nerf for Alhaitham. But is it make him bad? I will to say not entirely, and I will have my reason why. First, the one that is heavy nerf is the one is basic attack though. The normal charge attack, something like that though. Yes, skill and burst they still nerf, but not as hard as basic attack. So why they do that? I believe first because they don't want is kinda on par like Hutao and Nayaka, because I believe right now Hutao and Nayaka standard is just way too broken right now. So they do want to make a mistake same like that. And second, I think because they want us to play with a different gimmick though. So we play like the way we play Alhaitham, not like Kaching though, because before they kinda do the nerf, we kinda want to play like around the same like Kaching. But when they kinda do the nerf, it kinda like change the way we play of Alhaitham. Why I say like that? Because you see the last update, they even buff a little bit the elemental skill though. And the one that they want to utilize the gimmick of projectile itself though, which is entirely for Alhaitham. There's no that like gimmick from Kaching at all if you just talk about the projectile. Which I think it's a good idea, because if they want to make like everything like same like Kaching, it Alhaitham lose the value of the kinda uniqueness. So because they kinda change the way we play, it become more unique though, which is it's kinda good and bad though, although I find it still suck. And second, why I think Alhaitham will not that bad, because Alhaitham still can do reaction though. Compared to the character like Shao Wanderer or Ito, they really cannot do any reaction, so they really dependent on the team or weapon or constellation though, like kinda let's say C6 Farzan, kinda their or signature weapon or a Goro, something like that. Where Alhaitham you can completely ignore that and you just utilize the reaction, which is kind of like what spread, bloom, or hyper bloom, something like that. So can buff Alhaitham damage even more. So that's actually the good things compared to those characters that cannot do reaction though. So that's why I think Alhaitham is still okay. You can take a look like kind of what Kaching get really buff because of the endo, right? The hyper bloom with Kaching is actually very crazy and aggravate, something like that. And Alhaitham get benefit of that because of the reaction. So in short, if you ask me like, is he get really heavy nerf? I would say yes, sadly, yeah, he get very heavy nerf. But is it make it him bad? I would say not at all. Even I quite confident like the minimum, at least when Alhaitham released, if they didn't change the data, I would say it's around Kaching level or even higher though than that though. That's already minimum Kaching level, can be even higher though, because yeah, the benefit of Alhaitham that can do reaction, it's really just helping. And actually the scaling from the first time is actually already very a lot that can potential can beat Ayaka and Hutao. So basically when they kind of nerf a lot, it's not kind of like make him kind of worse DPS at all though. Okay, we move to the build section, which is the weapon for Alhaitham that you may try when he released though. So let's start with the 5-star. Of course, the best one is the signature. The subset gives you kind of crit damage, which is already very looks good, and it will help you increase crit rate and buff it your kind of elemental mastery, which is already good. That for sure for him. And then the second one you may try a Primordial Jet Cutter, because it also quite give the quite same vibe, which is crit rate. And then if you get HP, it will can give you a more attack that can beneficial for Alhaitham. And then Mid Splitter, of course, one of the best sword also. Same, give you critical damage. The opposite one, but around the same. That give you elemental damage bonus. That provide a lot, the kind of normal attack, something like that. And for Alhaitham, it can work very good. And then the next one is Harange Pakufuso. I think it's also kind of worth to try though, because it can get elemental damage also, which is still okay. And then the last one also Freedom Sword. Freedom Sword is good just because EM though, because we know that Dendro is very EM oriented, so this one is still good though. As for 4-star weapon, if you're familiar with how you should give a good weapon for Kazuha, then that you should do for Alhaitham also, because they share a little bit similarity, which is the first one very good is Iron Sting. Iron Sting basically very good for Alhaitham because it's also very free to play friendly. You can essentially like kind of easily to craft, like you can get like very accessible. And then the effect also good. It gives you elemental mastery, which is very good in Dendro in general, and the effect also good, can improve your elemental damage, so which is good. Other than that, you can try the Tokabu Shigure, which is from the latest event, from the Oni Yokai event, which is the effect also good. It gives you elemental mastery, and then it will give curse to one of the enemy for 10 seconds. That can improve your damage though, which is basically very good though. This is even better than Iris Thing if it's kind of like lesser enemy, let's say only kind of boss type like that, because see, upon one of the enemy only though. So if it's kind of like a lot of enemy, sadly the effect will not that trigger, but if it's kind of singular, this is even better than Iris Thing. So that's why this is also a solid weapon. Other than that, you can try the Festering Desire. Festering Desire actually good, although this one energy recharge in here, and I quite believe that Alhaitham still need energy recharge. That means later when you just put in the artifact, you just ignore all the subset from the energy recharge because you already get energy recharge from here though, because the effect is also very good. Increase the elemental skill damage by 32% and the skill crit rate too by 12%. It's still good, not so great, but at least okay. If you ask about the black sword, if you desperate, is yes. Why I have to say I not really recommend this one, like kind of the first one, because increase this like damage of normal charge attack, it's not really beneficial in Alhaitham anymore, because I already told you the gimmick right now in Alhaitham is changed to become projectile, not in the normal charge attack anymore. So this is kind of like lose the value of the from the Alhaitham itself though. So my recommendation, either go for Iris Thing or the Tokabu Shigure, or if you're desperate, if you have this, Festering Desire. As for the artifact sets, there's a couple of the artifact sets that I think it's good for Alhaitham. First one is the 4-piece of Gilded Dreams. I think 4-piece of Gilded Dreams is very good for Alhaitham because the 2-piece give you elemental mastery by 80, and the 4-piece will give you buff, depends on what you have on team. Either you will get attack buff or you will get elemental mastery buff though, which is both of them still beneficial for Alhaitham though. Other than that, you can try which is Deepwood Memories 4-piece, because the 2-piece is very good, give you Dendro damage bonus by 15%, but also the 4-piece also will give you kinda another buff, because they will decrease the Dendro resistance by 30% for 8 seconds if you hit the enemy by skill, which is very good for Alhaitham. But if you ask me which one is the best for Alhaitham or more suitable with Alhaitham, I would say is 4-piece of Gilded Dreams though. Why? Because I think 4-piece of Deepwood Memories is still kinda better to put with the character that have super capability, let's say Nahida, Dendro MC or Kole, something like that though, compare that the one that become main DPS. And here's why though, because first, if you put like Alhaitham with 4-piece of Deepwood Memories, you can only get until like the resistance 30% and that's it. But if you put 4-piece of Gilded Dreams and you have, let's say, neither Dendro, let's say Nahida or Lumin in the party, you will get the buff from 4-piece of this, and then you will get also the decreased resistance by 30%. So it basically can make your Alhaitham damage even more. So yeah, if you kinda running to Dendro, then I would suggest for you to go for the Gilded Dreams. The only way I would to recommend you to go for the Deepwood Memories, that I would think to become the best if Alhaitham is the only Dendro in that unit though. But other than that, 4-piece of Gilded Dreams will always win though. As for the artifacts main sets, it's basically similar with another like Dendro character build, which is for sense. You go with the elemental mastery because as usual, Dendro usually beneficial with elemental mastery compared to attack, but if you really don't have elemental mastery, you can go out for attack. But of course, elemental mastery is way better. And then for the goblet, for sure is Dendro damage bonus, but if you really don't have Dendro damage bonus, you can go for elemental mastery. But of course, Dendro damage bonus is the way to go if you have. And then in here for the circlet, you can either go for circle for the crit rate or crit damage, depend what you have. Or if you really don't have the crit or crit damage, you can go for elemental mastery, but crit rate and crit damage is still better, because I would say getting crit and crit damage in the main set is kind of help you a lot, because in the subset it's kind of hard for you to get a good roll, so it's easier for you to get like subset in elemental mastery later. So just go with the crit and crit damage if you have, but if you really don't have, then yeah, you can just go for the elemental mastery. For the artifact main stats, basically it's very straightforward. Like another character, you will need like crit rate, crit damage as a priority. Second is energy recharge, and the third one is elemental mastery. So those like kind of three essential kind of subset you can go. As for the team comp, I'm so sorry at first because I don't really have a lot of experience between like main DPS of Dendro itself, because I don't even have Tinari. So my experience in main DPS of Dendro is very lacking. I always treat Dendro as a support, so I don't really have a lot of inspiration. I only have couple of them, but I hope couple of these team can inspire you and you may try when it released though. So first one is just like pretend Dendro MC is Alhaitham, Nahida, or Dendro MC if you're free to play, or official. You can always change with Yai if you want, and Kokomi. And in here, basically, I'll hit him the one that become main DPS, and Nahida or the Andro MC the one that will equip Deepwood memories in here that will act as a support. So in here, Fischl the one that so we can trigger like both aggravate and spread that can beneficial for the Alhaitham itself, and Kokomi can also provide the additional reaction which is Bloom and Hyper Bloom later if you can trigger from the official itself, which is this team is pretty much good, similar with my Sino team, but I just put like the essence of the Alhaitham in here though. So that's why my inspiration come from. And then another one is basically still the same. It's just like I changed the way around, which is the one that becomes sub DPS. This one is Fischl Electro, and the one in here become Hydro or Sinjo. So in here basically still the same. Like Alhaitham in here become main damage dealer, Nahida then and Dendro MC become the support that equip the Deepwood memories. So basically Shincho you can always change with Yelan, and Cookie Shinobu in here that can trigger as a kind of hyper bloom and another like aggravate spread. So Alhaitham can trigger spread, right? And then the Shincho and Yelan can help to trigger the blooms one. So that's this one is pretty much works the same like these two, just like change different appeal. The last one that you can try is that the pure only Alhaitham, the one that has a Dendro unit in here. So basically Alhaitham solo only in here. Yai, or you can change with Fischl as always, and then Shincho you can change Yelan as always, and then Kokomi you can always change with Cookie. So in here basically we just want to trigger between all the reaction of the Dendro itself, which is from the spread like aggravate, bloom, hyper bloom, something like that though. So this basically can work also, and make sure in here you put the 4 piece of Deepwood memory. So this one the case where Deepwood will become better. So yeah, that's 3 team that I want to try later when Alhaitham come. And that's pretty much that's it though. I kind of hope all the best with your pool also with Alhaitham. I hope this kind of preparation kind of helpful for you. So yeah, if you like the video, feel free to hit the subscribe button and like, and I'll see you next time.